Welcome back, everybody. So now we have our blog manager set up, or at least started. So we can click on blog in the admin panel, take a look at the blog post that we entered in over here in the database. So here's our entry. Now we still don't have this set up so that we can add pages or add blogs, and we'll do that later. The next step is to make sure that we can actually pull the blogs from the front end here, because right now we're just pulling pages. And you'll see here, if you remember, this is from our first attempt at the WYSIWYG for the pages. So we're going to need to do a little bit different work here. If we open up Dreamweaver, okay, so what we want to do now is we have a function made here in Sandbox in the functions folder. So go ahead and open up that. And this function is called getPage. Now for now what we'll do is we're going to copy this function. So from line 5 to 17, copy it. And paste it again down below. And let's call this getBlog. And we'll keep everything the same here. We just need to change our query. Select all from blog. And for this one right now, we're going to strip out all this. And like I said, we'll get more detailed into making the blog, well, more detailed later. But this is more for just getting everybody prepped and understanding how to do these things. Now we're going to add a little bit to this. For a blog, we're most likely going to want to have the most recent entry first. So select all from blog, order by date, descending. So descending, we'll get the first one, or the most recent blog entry first. If we wanted to do ascending, again it's ASC. So I went descending. And we want to change this the echoes here a little bit. The title's fine. Let's go ahead and just copy this line here, paste it down below, and let's go ahead and make this just a paragraph. And we'll further style this a little bit later. And let's just put date here. Now we're pretty much done. As easy as that is. What we can do after this, and we'll do in the next video probably, is we'll take this date, because right now it's set as a timestamp, so it's going to be that kind of that nasty, the date then time with all the information you don't totally need, and I'll teach you how to extract that information and spit it out in a way that's a little more visually appealing, I guess. Now we can actually strip page out of here because we already know what kind of page this is. So let's save this and upload it. Control S, Control Shift U. And let's go ahead and open up our index. Now we're going to do some things that are kind of workarounds for now, because we want to get the end result out, and then I'll teach you how to kind of fine-tune things and make things a little less ugly, for lack of better words, clean things up. I mean, we're already pretty clean here. This is a nice clean document here. But let's go ahead and do this here, and I'm going to teach you something. We have two options here, or well, there are two options that I'm going to present anyways. And what we want to do at this point is we want to determine whether this is just a regular page or if it's a blog page. So this get page, we don't want this function to run if it's a blog. So we could either use an if statement or an if condition, or we can use what's called a switch case. So let's go ahead and let's start with the if. we can say if is equal to, so if PG, page, is equal to blog, then we have these curly brackets. And within these curly brackets, we decide what happens. And what we want to do, I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to change it to get blog. And we can take out this parameter here because we don't need it. So if PG is equal to, remember to have the two equal signs. If you want to think of it, think of the first one as is, and the second one as equal. If you take this out, this will actually say page equals blog. So it will always equal blog. So just remember that. You may not understand what I mean by that, but just remember when doing an if, you almost always want to have is equal to, the double equal sign. So if it is equal to blog, run the get blog function, which will then spit out the blog entries in descending order. Then we can run at what's called an else condition. Else, meaning if it isn't a blog, just go ahead and get the page. So you can see what's happening here. If anything is not a blog, it runs the get page, which basically means it runs everything the way we had it before. But in that event that blog is sitting up there in the URL, once you click on that in the nav, it'll run this function instead. So let's go ahead and test this out. Save and upload. Control S, Control Shift U. So here we go. We have our front end here. We have our home, gallery, blog, contact us. These should all run normal because that else statement's running. Now if we click on blog, there you go. There's our first post. We got our heading, our not so attractive timestamp, and then the post. So let's see what happens if we add another entry here. So I'm back in the database here, and I'm in the blog table, and I'm going to insert another blog post. ID stays empty because it automatically increments the number. Title is second blog post. There's my creativity. Status 1, current timestamp, go. So now if we flip back over to our public end, hit refresh. Okay, now here's something we didn't catch. Now it showed our post, which is good. So let's go back in the Dreamweaver and see what happened here. So if we go back to Sandbox, aha, here's what we did wrong. Because I copied and pasted the get page function, the get page function is only pulling one page, limit 1, but it's also only pulling one record regardless. Even if I didn't have this limit 1 here, it'd only pull one record. So we need to add one more thing here, which is called a while loop. So what we're going to do is say while, this is on line 25, while page equals MySQLi fetch assoc. So everything stays the same there. We just need to add this extra, make sure you have these two parentheses there, curly bracket, go down here to line 31, curly bracket. We'll tab this out so it makes a little more sense. Now what's happening is it's going to create a new array for every single post, and for each post it's going to spit this out, do it again. So since we only have 2 records, it's going to run this while loop twice. So let's go ahead and save and upload this. Control S, Control Shift U, and then we go back to our page, and there you go. Now all we need to do is some more formatting, and there's one thing I did notice on one of our pages here. Oh well, it's gone now. But remember, in the admin panel, our footer was getting covered up. So we want to do that same thing that we did in the admin panel. So if we open up index in the admin folder, let's scroll down here. Remember we made this little div here with the class of clear. Let's copy that, head over to the index and the public side, toss that in right after the footer, save and upload that, and then we need to add that class to the CSS. So on the public side here, I'll close the admin. On the public side, open styles, and just, wherever, we just make a class called clear, give it a property of clear, and a value of both. And that solves that problem. Save and upload that. Control Shift U, or Control Control S and then Control Shift U. So we're making pretty good progress here. We have our pages loading, we have our blog loading, we have our admin panel with our page manager, our blog manager, both have the WYSIWYG installed, and we're good to go. Now we need to make sure we can add posts. We need to do some more formatting on the front end, and that is to come. Thank you.